and they never go after criminals, and they don't want to go after illegals either that are in this country illegally harming American citizens.
Here now to remind us all about what a difficult job it is to be in law enforcement, especially these days where everybody's got a camera and then they deceptively edit stuff and say, look how this cop treated me, and they want to defund them. They want to put a target on their back. I think the next time you need one, you won't be screaming defund the cops or calling them the P word. My pal, retired Pinal County, Arizona Sheriff, and now Republican candidate for the 5th Congressional District in the Grand Canyon State, my pal, Mark Lamb, back on the program. Sheriff, you're always sheriff to me, even if you're retired. How you doing, Sheriff?
I'm doing good. I'm out here in Washington, D.C., celebrating Police Week and knocking out some campaign meetings while I'm at it.
Wait, did you get to go to the White House dinner last night for Police Week?
I did not. I would have loved to have been there, but I was on my way into D.C. last night. I knew a lot of people that were there, and this is why we love President Trump in this area, because he has been so supportive of law enforcement over his 2 administrations. This is exactly why. Joe Biden, not one time, Dan, did he invite the sheriffs to the White House. Not one time. And I went 8 times under President Trump when I was there.
You know, it only makes sense because, and I like what you've always said, like the sheriff, Chad Bianco says this, you say this, other sheriffs I know, you guys are like one of the last local lines of defense, right? You're holding up the Constitution, you're following the law to the letter, and you're protecting and serving. I do not say city cops or state troopers don't do it, but you know, county sheriffs are out there, not just patrolling streets and keeping the peace. You guys are doing the investigations. You guys do a lot of stuff. And I've always said, I don't know why more politicians don't get involved with meeting with law enforcement and trying to figure out what you guys and gals need on the streets to make your job easier and safer while protecting us. And so when we've heard this last 10 years, and it probably goes further back under the Obama regime, of this defund police crap coming from the Democrats and the left, it just disgusts the hell out of me, Mark.
Well, look, first of all, these folks don't believe in the country that we believe in. They're moving closer to socialism. They're moving closer to communism. They would love federal law enforcement, not local law enforcement, because they understand, especially during COVID with guys like me, when we weren't having any part of the nonsense that was going on with the lockdowns and other things. It was really a lot of the sheriffs that started standing up and saying, we're not going to do this. We're not going to impede on people's rights. And the far left knows this. We are an impediment to their long-term plan of socialism in this country, which is why the left pushes so hard for this defund the police narrative. And they never go after criminals, and they don't want to go after illegals either that are in this country illegally harming American citizens. And this is what we believe in, and this is what President Trump believes in.
Yeah, you know, and like I said at the opening, and you know what I was talking about, Mark, right? And I only put that little preface out there because anytime I support cops, there's always that 1 or 2 naysayer, viewer, keyboard warrior that likes, keep licking the boots. Cops are bad. Cops abuse their power. Cops do this. Duh. Everybody in a position of power these days, somebody abuse it. That doesn't mean everybody in that profession does. And I appreciate and thank the men and women in law enforcement because let's be real. At one time or another, almost every American is going to pick this thing up and hit 911. Whether the car's broken down and a trooper pulls alongside the road to help you out, or you're in a domestic violence situation, somebody robs your business, you name it, one of these days, you're going to have to pick it up and hit those 3 numbers. And if you think cops are so bad, tell you what, block 911 from your friggin' phone, Mark.
Look, they will all call the police. Everybody, even all the defund the police, all the people that hate the police, the first number they're going to call if something goes wrong is the police. Look, our profession has such a low sustained complaint rate. I think it's like 0.0003%. We respond to millions of calls a year, and the men and women do a phenomenal job. Are there bad apples? Sure. And we do the best we can to weed them out of our own profession.
Yep.
But doctors, malpractice deaths, not to take away from them, I'm not trying to disparage them, but there's 250,000 deaths from malpractice a year.
Yeah.
We've got teachers, one after another, continually getting in trouble for violating children and abusing children. And yet we continue to look at police who want to put cameras on police. Look, Here's how we can start. Let's start by removing qualified immunity from judges who have all day long to look at a case and determine it. Well, we respond and make split-second decisions. I say the men and women of this job, and we have such a high percentage of good people in this profession and such a low percentage of bad apples. We are far better than most professions.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the officer-involved shootings where somebody didn't have a weapon and people always want to complain, cops are killing people on the streets, it's literally like 45 or 50 or something every year. The number is low as heck. And great point, great analogy with other professions who do have a lot of bad actors to the tunes of tens of hundreds of thousands of bad actors. And so I wanted to do something this week, and Mark, you were the perfect guy, just to remind folks that, hey, you're always going to call on a cop at some point in your life. So just because you maybe had a bad experience, you got a traffic ticket you didn't like, or maybe a cop overstepped the boundaries with his authority and treated you like crap, then fine, report him, get rid of that one. But overall, let's remember, especially this week when we're honoring police, to remember that we need them. They're out there protecting and serving our communities, and we need them. Mark, I'll give you the final word on this week honoring law enforcement.
Amen, Dan, and I couldn't have said it better. And thank you for all the men and women who put on the badge. But this week is above and beyond remembering them. We are remembering those who lost their lives in the line of duty, those families who lost their loved one, who will never again come home and hang the uniform up or the badge up. They gave their life in this profession to protect Americans and American citizens. And this week we honor those who do this job, and even more so we honor those who lost their lives doing this job, and we honor their families for paying the ultimate sacrifice for the American people.
Amen. And it's a fitting timing to have this week because Memorial Day is right around the corner, and being a veteran myself, a lot of cops are vets. It's kind of ironic that within the same couple of weeks we honor people who protect and serve either here on the homeland or abroad, and we better never ever forget those sacrifices. Sheriff Lamb, we love you. Look up the website. Help him out with his candidacy. He's going to be the next congressman for the 5th District in Arizona. I know it. I feel it in my bones, Mark. You got it. Take care, brother.
Thank you, brother. Yep. MarkLamb.us. MarkLamb.us. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That's the website. Thank you, Mark.